Hello, BookTube. I have a mail haul for you, and I never thought I'd reach the day on BookTube where just saying that would start to feel a little controversial. But the more videos I see, the more soul-searching videos I watch, the more tweets I get, even some comments. Makes me think that people are starting to dislike book hauls. I love book hauls. I love seeing them, what people are getting. And I love doing them. I love going through my mail with the rest of you. I would hate it if book hauls suddenly fell out of favor. Maybe they got hashtagged. Hashtag uninstall the haul. That would be horrifying. and I understand where some of the irritation comes from, of course, because I felt it myself. Where you get people making videos where they're where the thumbnail has them, oh my god, I just hauled 100 books, and you're never going to hear about any of those books again. They don't care at all. It's just, I don't even know what it is. Some sort of consumerism run amok. And once again, before we dig into this huge haul, I want us to beg for a papal dispensation for myself. Because, and not just me, there are a handful of booktubers who do regular mail hauls, and of that mail haul, of that handful, quite a few of them no longer need to demonstrate their bona fides. They are not just minor birds collecting pretty shiny objects. And I'd like to think I'm in that number. I would like to get a dispensation because I would like to think by now you all know that I am deeply involved in the books I'm getting. Deeply involved. Not only do I know something about most of them, even without reading them, we can have a conversation about what's interesting, why they're here, but also later. I read them, I reread them, I write about them. I'm deeply involved in them, so I'm hoping that I can continue to do mail hauls. But we're going to start with this first one, which is so small that I'm dreading a thin volume of poetry. Carburetor. Aubergine. Thank you. By the shores of Gitchigumi, by the shining bright sea waters. Stood the wigwam of Nokomis, lovely daughter of Nokomis. Oh no, it's not a slim volume of poetry, it's a catalog. This is the autumn catalog for Europa Editions, the great Europa Editions. Oh, fantastic. Oh my. Okay, so we have an ambitious fantasy, a YA fantasy called A Winter's Promise, Volume 1. We have a historical novel set in 17th century France called City of Crows by Chris Wormersley. Looks like there's a Turkish novel in translation. Wow. Yeah, it's called Like a Sword Wound. And it's by Ahmet Altan, translated from the Turkish, and it's volume 1 in the Ottoman Quartet. Oh my. Oh my. And Ahmet Altan is one of the most important contemporary Turkish writers and journalists. He was arrested in September 2016. An advocate for Kurdish and Armenian minorities and a central figure in the Turkish cultural world, Nobel winner Orhan Pamuk has written about his arrest and signed an open letter calling for his release. Oh my god, he's still in jail. He is the author of 5 successful novels. Oh my, okay. Alright, so this is a quartet. The Ottoman Quartet spans 50 years between the final decades of the 19th century and the post-World War I rise of Ataturk. Wow. All right. Then a novel by somebody named Seth Greenland. Another novel by Alex Miller. Lots of lots of novels. Okay. But I guess that's what Europa does, and they do a lot of really good translated stuff. They're one of my favorite mainstream publishers for translated stuff. I found a lot of oh my historical novel, The Children of Jocasta. Oh my, by Natalie Haynes. Thebes is a city in mourning, still reeling from a devastating attack of plague that invaded every home and left survivors devastated and fearful. This is the Thebes that Jocasta has known her entire life, a city ruled by a king, her husband-to-be. He's not just her husband-to-be, though. not to be familiar to you. Wow. Okay, great. All right. Then we go on from here, and then we'll go to, I always look for, Europa does a series that I love, the Commissario Ricciardi series. Commissario Ricciardi is a policeman who can hear the last words of the dead. Just that. He doesn't get to converse with the dead, and no one else can see what he sees, but what he sees is true. What he sees is accurate. And the dead don't see him. He sees them caught in the trauma of their last moment, repeating over and over their last thought. And it's extremely painful for him, but it's also helped him in his career. So, for instance, he'll be walking down the street, and he'll see a little boy whose chest is completely caved in, blood pouring out of his nose and his mouth, and the boy will be repeating over and over again, "Mommy, can I go play outside? Mommy, can I go play outside?" And Ricciardi's the only one who can see these things, and they're extremely good. The Ricciardi novels are extremely good, and Europa's the one who does. Oh, and look at that. All right, great. Nameless Serenade is the new Ricciardi mystery. Great. Fantastic. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Great. I don't want to take too long on the catalog here because we've got a lot of books to go through, but that is wonderful. Okay. Fantastic. All right. So that's a great way to start. A catalog is a great way to start. Now let's dive in to hashtag uninstall the hall. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, fantastic. Oh, my. Oh, no, I had no idea the author was so young. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so this comes out in April. It's an April book. It's The Library, A Catalog of Wonders by Stuart Kells. All about the history of libraries and their place in society over the centuries, and how they're changing today, and also, from what I hear, from what I gather, liberally studded with personal stories of how wonderful they are, which I have a whole bunch of books like that, and they're always great to read. So where are we going to put these things here? We move on to this next one. That's a finished copy of something. What have we got here? Oh! Okay. All right. Oh. I'm thinking I accidentally have wandered into a mail haul from Mark Richardson at Richardson Reads. That's certainly what it feels like here. I think some of these will end up winging their way to Vermont. This is also an April book. This is Lexington Concord, The Battle Heard Round the World by Gordon Doggan, who's done 2 great books on the War of 1812. His books on the War of 1812 cannot be missed. They are the best books on the subject. And here he's moving to the battle at Concord Green. Wow. Okay, great. All right, let's see what we've got here. This next one is on life in small town Vermont. I'm going to pack it in. Oh, no, okay, no, it's not. This is the finished copy of something that I read in advance copy. It comes out in April. It's another April. My April shelf is just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. I try not even to think about it anymore. But this is a fascinating piece of nonfiction. It's Kirk Wallace Johnson's The Feather Thief, about someone who stole feathers. It's a rollicking true crime adventure and a thought-provoking exploration of the human drive to possess natural beauty. On a cool June evening in 2009, after performing a concert at London's Royal Academy of Music, 20-year-old American flautist Edward Rist boarded a train for a suburban outpost of the British Museum of Natural History. Home to one of the largest ornithological collections in the world, the Tring Museum was full of rare bird specimens whose gorgeous feathers were worth staggering amounts of money to men who shared Edwin's obsession, the Victorian art of salmon fly tying. Honestly, a novelist couldn't make this up. Once inside the museum, the champion fly tyer grabbed hundreds of bird skins, some collected 150 years earlier by a contemporary of Darwin's, Alfred Russel Wallace, who'd risked everything to gather them, and then the thief escaped into darkness. So that's a fascinating story right there. And those of you who know anything about Darwin will know that Alfred Russel Wallace wasn't just a contemporary of Darwin's. He shares another distinction as well. Always amazes me. I guess maybe the writer of a true crime book doesn't want to open that particular can of worms. But we're, to put it mildly, we're long overdue for an Alfred Russel Wallace biography. I will be keenly looking for one in 2019. Oh my. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. All right. This is not an April book, amazingly. This is a June book. This is by David Favre, and it's called Respecting Animals. A balanced approach to our relationship with pets, food, and wildlife. Is it ethically acceptable to shoot your neighbor's dog for barking hours on end, to eat the meat of an animal, or for a zoo to keep chimpanzees in an exhibit? The answer to all of those questions is no. And not only that, but the answer to all of those questions is an instantaneous, flatly obvious no. If you hear any one of those questions and you pause or hesitate at all, you need to sit down in a dark room and re-examine your ethical compass. This thoughtful, well-argued, and elegantly written book, slow down there, Seymour. Okay? I'll quite literally be the judge of that. Provides readers with a comprehensive and practical context in which to consider their personal and social relationships with animals. Okay. Well, as you all know, if you've been following this channel for any length of time, I have quite pronounced views on the subject. So we'll see. This will certainly be completely fascinating to me. You don't beat them, don't eat them. That's a fine starting point. Don't kill them, don't beat them, don't eat them. Anyway, let's move on to this next one here. I'm making a bit of a mess, but we'll clean it up. Oh my! Look at that. It's the paperback of Young and Damned and Fair by Gareth Russell. This is about Catherine Howard, the fifth wife of Henry VIII, his brainless teenager wife. Oh, wow. Oh, so they completely changed the design. This doesn't look anything like the hardcover. It looks a little derivative in paperback, whereas the hardcover didn't. Wow, though. Fantastic. Okay, oh, well, of course, the paperback of Young and Damned and Fair is going to make one wonder, is one blurbed? And you get to see if you get to be right along with me and see if a certain someone is blurbed. Open Letters Monthly is blurbed. A fascinating new book. In revisiting Catherine Howard's story, Russell seeks to shift the emphasis from the personal to the professional, stressing how the households of queens and powerful noblewomen could become focal points for a level of power and influence earlier historians haven't fully credited. Wow. That may very well be one of the last Open Letters Monthly blurbs that ever appears in a paperback. It's kind of melancholy. Perfect example, though, of what I talk about on this channel. I will reread this gladly. And you see, this is also an example of what I was talking about, the miracle that we all created with Open Letters Monthly. We punched above our weight, and that was a wonderful feeling. I'm very much confident that Open Letters Review can do the same thing. But the blurbs here, you've got Times Literary Supplement, you've got Library Journal, you've got Julia Fox, who wrote a biography of Anne Boleyn, you've got Philippa Gregory, you've got Dan Jones and Adrian Tinniswood, both of whom are great historians. You've got the Daily Mail, the Library Review, Book List, and Open Letters Monthly. And that's wonderful. All right, great. So, Tudor biography. Let's see. We're doing fine so far as a mail. This, I don't know if I mentioned, this ends in a box. Let's see what this next one is. All right, this is the finished copy. This comes out in April. I was wondering if I was going to get a finished copy of this. This gives me an idea to see. One of the things you can tell about the finished copy is what the author looks like, because in advanced copies there's no author photo. And Chris White is an award-winning playwright and screenwriter with an MFA in dramatic writing from NYU's Tisch School of the Arts. And her plays have been produced nationally and internationally. I haven't read this yet. This is the life list of Adrian Mandrick. And it's a birding novel, as you can tell from the title. He seems to have his life in perfect order, with an excellent job in a Colorado hospital, a wife and 2 young children he loves deeply, and a serious passion for birding. And the last part there, a serious passion for birding, flies in direct contradiction of that bit about seeming to have his life in perfect order. But we won't go after him too hard. His life list comprises 863 species correctly identified and cataloged. See what I mean? His life is either in, what was it again? Perfect order? Or he has the serious mental disorder known as birding. Can't be both. It is, in fact, the third longest list in the North American region. Okay, all right. So Adrian Mandrick is, to borrow a word from his life list, a loon. But I haven't read it yet. But imagine a birding novel. That's a lot of fun right there. I know a couple of dedicated birders, the poor things. But anyway, let's move on here. What is this next one? Oh, okay. I don't think I got an advanced copy of this. It's an April book, of course, but this is by Kenneth Miller, and this is The Human Instinct. Subtitle being How We Evolved to Have Reason, Consciousness, and Free Will. And Kenneth Miller is a professor of biology at Brown University, and the critically acclaimed best-selling author of Only a Theory and Finding Darwin's God. And he's also he's been very popular on the new atheist circuit because he's a believing Catholic who demolishes Christian apologetics left, right, and center because he's also a working scientist. And he's been doing it for a long time, too. He's been doing it for a long time. In 2005, he was the lead expert witness for the victorious plaintiffs in the landmark Kitzmiller versus Dover trial, where he testified in favor of evolution and against, quote, intelligent design. And this is his new book on the human instinct. Wow, okay, this he's a terrifically companionable writer. This probably goes to the top of the list. Okay, great. We're moving right along here. We're doing all right for time. We've got just a few books left. Okay, all right. This is the finished copy of Air Traffic, a memoir of ambition and manhood in America by Gregory Pardlow, who won the Pulitzer Prize. And this is, I think we saw this on this channel before. Gregory Pardlow's father was a brilliant and charismatic man, a leading labor organizer, who presided over a happy suburban family of 4. When he loses his job following the famous air traffic controller strike of 1981, he succumbs to addiction and exhausts the family's money on more and more ostentatious whims. In the face of this troubling model and disillusioned presence in the household, young Gregory rebels. Struggling to distinguish himself on his own terms, he hustles off to Marine Corps boot camp. He drops out of college again and again. He moves across the world, returning to the United States only to take a job as a manager cum barfly at his father's jazz club. And that all of that, I remember reading that description. It sounds like just an amazing life story. Don't tell me, let me guess. This is an April book. I probably don't even need to guess, do I? Yes, this is an April book. Okay. Well, April is, even for me, a lost cause. I can read it all, but I'm talking in terms of reviewing. I can't possibly review everything I have for April, so I'll just have to be philosophical about that. Great. All right. So let's. It's a Penguin classic. It's Ancient Rhetoric from Aristotle to Philostratus. Another anthology volume, like the one we saw with historians. This is a collection of rhetoric. Oh my! No material at all here. Just the book, just sent from an anonymous admirer. This is translated by Thomas Habeneck. Rhetoric, or the art of persuasion and speaking well, was the lifeblood of the classical world, whether in the courtroom, in politics, or in ruling. This new anthology brings together the most important ancient writings on the art of rhetoric from classical Greece and Rome. That's Frida. She saw a pile of these envelopes and decided, perfect to make a bedding. Ranging across such themes as memory, delivery, and style, they show us the enduring power of language to move, to convince, and to win. So what does that mean then? This isn't examples of rhetoric. This is examples of manuals on rhetoric. Because manuals on rhetoric were extremely popular in the ancient world. How-to books. Yeah, that's what this is. Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. And then the last thing is a box. What is this? Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. Okay, I didn't think I would get this. But there's no pub sheet. Instead, there's some sort of invoice, but that's all. But I believe this is an April book. I don't have a pub sheet. I'll have to look it up. But this is Recounting the Anthrax Attacks. This is by R. Scott Decker, and the subtitle is Terror, the Anthrax Task Force, and the Evolution of Forensics at the FBI. And it's an incident that has sort of been folded away into American history and sort of forgotten, which is the anthrax attacks that took place in the wake of 9/11. And I don't think I've read, here we go. Recounting the Anthrax attacks explores the origins of the innovative forensics used in this case while explaining their historical context. Okay, but see, the back just has blurbs on it, and we don't have a pub sheet. So I wonder if anybody's going to actually... I mean, ostensibly, this is what will be in bookstores, and it doesn't tell you anything about the book. No, it's just blurbs on the back. It doesn't recount what. Wow. See, what I'm doing now, delving inside the book and flipping pages to find out where I'm going to get the nearest quick summary, that disqualifies 99% of all potential readers. 99% of potential readers won't do this. They'll turn it over. 50% will turn it over. But that percentage drops away to almost nothing if you have to actually examine the book to find out what it's about. No, it does not. It absolutely does not. It dives straight into the story. Okay, well, I happen to know the story. And it's fascinating. This is the first full-length study of it that I've ever read, okay, and it's all about this guy was actually part of the task force that studied it. Okay, all right, that's an odd way to end. It's an odd note to end on. Comes with a card from Roman and Littlefield, but not. The card is just a contact card. It doesn't have anything about the book. That's very strange. Very strange. Also, it's not just strange from my pampered perspective of not getting a pub sheet. It's also that this is what's going to be in bookstores. And it tells the reader nothing at all. So that's a very odd note to end on. So we've got Recounting the Anthrax Attacks. Then Air Traffic by Gregory Pardlow, a memoir of his father. Then The Human Instinct by Kenneth Miller. In a finished copy. Fantastic. Didn't think I was getting it. The Life List of Adrian Mandrick. Young and Damned and Fair in paperback with an open letters blurb. Then Ancient Rhetoric, another Penguin Classic original anthology. Those are always fun. Respecting Animals, what we owe to our fellow Earthlings. The Feather Thief, really the kind of true crime that the kind of story you can only get in true crime. You can't get it anywhere else. Then Lexington Concord, a new book about the signature American Revolution battle, and The Library. Its wonder, its history, its personal significance to all of us. And there you go. That is an embattled mail haul. And we'll wrap it up there. What's that you say? Oh, right. Oh, yes. The major channel changes. There aren't any. False alarm. Sorry. BookTube. I'll be going now.